everyone. Allison here from AllisonReeves.co. And today I'm just going to kind of talk through a new blog post that I have up on AllisonReeves.co about how money is an energy. So, obviously, this is a very esoteric kind of topic where there may not be a lot of science or perfect logic behind it, but I want to talk through how this belief has been helpful for me and kind of like the principles behind it that have worked for me, and then also how you can start shifting into believing that money is an energy and really having that thought serve you. So I do have some notes and I am live. I'll be looking back and forth like this with the no editing. So let's just kind of jump into it. So, money is an energy, and this has really served me because if I just see money as a piece of paper that I'm chasing after, then it kind of gives me this grippy feeling. It gives me beliefs like if somebody else has more, then I have less. So, we're in competition with each other. But if I see money as an energy rather than just a physical resource, I can expand what I think is possible. And that has served me because I've been able to celebrate other people's success. And I've also been able to go after my own success without feeling like somebody else will have less, or kind of seeing how my own abundance can help serve the world and expand not just my own life, but other people's lives as well. So let's talk about some core principles of like money as an energy. What does that mean? How might it impact your beliefs? And the first thing I want to talk about is that money as an energy in regards to like money is responding to our thoughts. So often we're thinking about money as just physical form in our bank accounts. How much money is in my bank account? And in with the law of attraction suggests that money, spiritual energy responds to our thoughts and beliefs. And I have seen this not just with money in general, but even if we're expanding the definition of, because a lot of us like what's really important is not the money and the cash and the paper in your bank account, but how it's impacting your life. So, probably a lot of us would care less about wealth if we had in our lives the things that we wanted. So, I may not care about a specific number in my bank account if I wasn't worried about my safety in retirement, for example. Or if I wasn't worried about making sure that I could always pay my bills, I may not care about a specific amount as much. So, money is always responding to our thoughts. If you have a healthy relationship with the way that you're thinking about money, it's going to be easier to attract a positive relationship with money or see the kind of abundance and money that you want in your life. And one way to do a quick check on this is just thinking about like relationships, like romantic relationships that you have in your life. If I think about a healthy attachment, I think there's neutrality, there's trust, there's love and affirmation. If I think about an unhealthy attachment, I think about grippiness. Like I love this, I don't love, but I feel this feeling in past relationships I've had that were less healthy for me, where I had like an unhealthy attachment. I wasn't neutral. I might be jealous. I didn't trust. And I've done that with money as well, where I've been overly attached and grippy and clingy, and I don't trust it's going to be there. I think it's going to go away. And that's a check for me that I have an unhealthy mindset that I need to deal with, as opposed to feeling more relaxed and flowy and trusting. And I know if I lose one client, then I'll get another. And I know if I have an expense that I'll have the money to cover it, and the money will come back to me. So money responds to your thoughts. We could probably do a whole video, maybe I will, on just the law of attraction and that energy and vibration, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end, but that's the first kind of principle. Next, kind of similar to your thoughts and beliefs impacting the cash that's in your bank account, is embodying deservingness and worthiness. So this goes back to also a lot of these kind of overlap with wealth wounds, which I talk about a lot. You can go to AllisonReeves.co and take the wealth wound quiz to kind of see what your biggest money mindset blocker might be. But one of those biggest money mindset blockers is worthiness. So if you don't feel like you are worthy of whatever results you're desiring, it's going to be harder to attract and stay with money. So if I this has happened to me where I made a big sale in my business and I felt worthy, then that relationship would go smoothly and no big surprises would come up. I would get to keep and save and have that money. Whereas if I have a big sale and I felt unworthy, then some stickiness is more likely to develop in that relationship with the client or with the cash that I received because of that relationship. because of that service to the client. And then I want to talk about alignment. Another key principle of money as an energy is just what is and isn't aligned for you. So we can have a lot of success and you can bring a lot of positive things into your life that are not because of alignment. So, for example, there was a time in my business where I outsourced my power. I was kind of addicted to coaches and masterminds, and I let them tell me exactly what I should do in my business. And I didn't trust myself to come up with my own methods or do things a little bit messy. I thought that the way that they were teaching me was the only way that would work. And I got success from that. For a long time in my business, I did not do things that were aligned for me, and I still had a lot of financial success. But the problem with doing things out of alignment is that it can lead to burnout or being out of integrity, and it may not ever lead to those things either. You can live out of alignment for your whole life and and still be successful. And if you lean into alignment, it makes things so much smoother, more enjoyable, more sustainable. And depending on your personality, being out of alignment may not be sustainable for you. So there are some people who can be out of alignment and sustain that. And some people, like me, cannot sustain it. So being in alignment is a huge part of like when you're thinking about money as an energy, that is one way to kind of lean into what that energy feels like, is staying into alignment. Another part of money mindset, like this is a really important principle for money as an energy, is believing that money is good. This also kind of relates to the relationship aspect as well, but you probably heard the quote, money is the root of all evil. Well, if you think that money is evil, then it's going to be harder to attract the kind of money that you want into your life. Another common belief that is similar is that rich people did bad things to become rich. So, it's very common for us to have a negative mindset about multimillionaires and especially billionaires, to think that it is not right for someone to be a billionaire. And like, sure, there are ethics we could talk about. However, if your core beliefs are that people with money are bad, then of course you're not going to want to attract more abundance because you don't want to be bad. Most of us don't want to be bad or evil. So it's going to be harder for you to attract abundance if you think that money is bad, if you think that people who have money are bad. And so you may not be able to believe that people with money are good, but you can certainly get to a neutral place about it. Like you can have an affirmation that says something like, I am working on becoming more neutral about people who have more money than me. I could again talk about this a whole bunch, but another principle that will help you in regards to really embodying the fact that money is energy is investing in yourself. Now, I think some parts of the coaching industry, or let's just expand that to the online course industry in general, like the online education industry, I think there's a toxic component to kind of in my past, I was pressured to invest in myself, and I was told, almost like a fear perspective, if I don't invest in myself, then I won't be successful. If I don't invest in myself, then I'm going to struggle to reach the goals that I want. And my point in encouraging you to invest in yourself, to kind of lean into money as an energy, is not so that you're afraid to not invest in yourself, but so that you can relax a little more about investing in yourself. So a lot of people who are successful financially have talked about and mentioned like the ways they've invested in themselves. And of course, I think that's balanced with the duality of being smart with your money, of being intentional, right? So if you are overly hoarding finances, like if we go back to the relationship, you're being too grippy. That's not a healthy relationship. Whereas if you're willing to spend and invest and know that it's going to come back to you, but also respecting your money too. Because there was, when I was kind of in my addicted to masterminds phase, I think I could say that I didn't really respect my money or see my money. I had some money avoidance, which is another wealth wound. So those are one more principle. And this also relates to investing in yourself. With money as an energy, it's important to be proactive. So with manifesting in general, it is true that your thoughts and beliefs attract more of what you want. And it's a lot easier to believe that those things are going to happen if you're actually taking action. So achieving any kind of financial freedom is always going to be easier to believe and embody if you're taking action towards it. So I just want to mention that. So let's talk about ways you can kind of move the power of money in your own life. So cash responds to thoughts, beliefs, and actions. I've already said that. Good money habits and mindsets will draw in money. So there's the practical and there's the spiritual. There's the actions around money, which is a lesson I had to learn retroactively. So my story, very short for those of you who don't know, is that I had a corporate career. I finally started making money in entrepreneurship, and I had a very successful, like my first year full time on my own was also my first multiple six-figure year, which I would consider very successful. Um, but what happened was I was working on the energetic a lot, and I did have some of the practical, but I was so stressed out about looking at my finances that I just kind of thought, if I just make more money, then I don't have to be super detailed with my finances. And that worked until it didn't. So what happened was I had this addiction to masterminds. I started spending more and more, thinking that spending would bring in the next level of abundance. And then I had to obviously at some point stop that bleeding. I was lighting money on fire in my business. And because I never got in touch with the really practical side of tracking, like I had to go back and heal all of that. And for me, like tracking my finances at that level of detail, even just like basic what's coming in, what's coming out, projections, that made my nervous system really dysregulated. So I had to do some building resilience and healing before I could do that practical side. So, all that to say, money as an energy, manifesting in general is always both practical and spiritual. They go hand in hand. So, here are some ways to get in sync with money's energy more easily. These are like super basics, consistently work 5 things. Number one is being grateful for what you have now, which is probably something you've heard a million times. And maybe you're yawning as I say this, but being grateful for the money that you have now, anything that you have now that is providing for you, even if you're not in the kind of situation you want to be in, that will be helpful for getting in sync with money as an energy. So if all you're doing is focusing on how you are unhappy with your situation, that's like being in a relationship with someone, a romantic relationship, and all you're ever doing is talking about all the things you're not happy with. That doesn't lead to change. You have to start with the things that you're happy with and then coming, like wanting change from a place of like gratitude and hope and seeing the future. So, some ways to do this that I think are more interesting than just writing gratitude lists are writing like other things that you want in your life. So, for example, I want luxury, I want adventure, I want freedom. So instead of saying, I am thankful for this, I'm thankful for that, you can say 3 ways where I felt adventure today were. 3 things that felt luxurious to me today were. 3 things that gave me a sense of freedom today were. So even if you don't have exactly what you want today, you can start leaning into different aspects of abundance. Another way you can get in sync with the energy of money is just picturing money coming to you. And I think it's really easy to get, at least for me, attached to how that money might come. And it's okay to visualize those specifics. Some of us are specific manifestors and some of us are general manifestors. But whether you're specific or a general manifestor, just starting to envision the money coming to you and being flexible with how that might look. So I can imagine like an unexpected check coming in the mail, a client I wasn't expecting, a bonus from someone who I wasn't expecting. I don't know, get creative. I've had all of these different kinds of things happen, but just picturing money coming to you, visualizing what it looks like for that money to hit your bank account, like how your bank account is growing over time. All those things are a really powerful way to lean into money as an energy. Spending money in ways that match what you care about is a great way to match the energy of money as well. So, even if you can't afford to give a whole lot, like giving $5 to something or volunteering for something. But if you can put energy and focus and money into the things that you care about, like I really care about travel. So maybe I'll start a savings account where I put $5 away a month, for example. For me, like one of the things that I care about a lot is just making sure that I'm safe and secure and don't have to worry. So for a long time before I could afford to do a lot with my retirement, I would just put in the minimum that my retirement manager required. And for years I did that, even though it's like not enough or wasn't enough at the time, I just put in the minimum. So there's like something growing, something happening until I was ready to invest more. Number four is letting go of old ideas that are holding you back from having more. If you don't know what your limiting beliefs are, then you can just visit the Wealth Wound quiz, and that is on my website, AllisonRaves.co. And number four, give to others to keep money moving. So again, giving to things you care about, investing in things you care about, like travel, retirement. It could be more fun things or whatever you want, or your business. And then giving to others to keep money moving as well. So giving to causes that you care about, because that just helps money to move. And again, that can help release that like grippy feeling we have of like, if you're someone who operates from a fear mentality and you can be a bit of a hoarder, just spending a little bit can help release and relax that a little bit. So there is more in this blog post, which I have linked in the description. There's setting clear financial goals, creating positive money habits, putting money into yourself, just expanding on all those topics. So if you want to read this full post, all the details, you can just go to the link in the description, and I will see you around on the internet very soon. Okay, bye.